folks. Why Would You Ask That is a podcast that answers some of the weirdest questions. A lot of those are inappropriate for some listeners. If you're squeamish, easily disturbed, or just having a bad day, this may not be for you. But if you've got to know the answers like we do, stay tuned.
Why Would You Ask That? Hosted by me, M, they, them, and my two fellows here.
Karen, she, her.
Remy, he, him.
And today we're going to be asking the very important question that I asked Remy, which is, why did it take so long to accept umami as the fifth taste? Like, a few years ago, suddenly, like, everybody's like, oh, umami, what is it? And then every food reviewer on the planet was like, umami, this is umami. This has umami. What is umami? And to me, umami is savory, meat taste. Like, protein. So why did it take so long? We all knew that this was a thing.
Do you know anything at all about the history of umami or what it means?
I know it's Japanese,
Mm-hmm.
and it's the taste of MSG.
Okay. Karen?
I thought it was yams.
Oh. Interesting.
Yams?
Mm-hmm. I thought
Can you explain that?
Well, I thought that the flavor of umami was like yam flavor, but I think that's because umami and ube both start with U.
Oh.
I mean, yes, that logic makes sense.
So for me, umami is purple.
Okay. That makes sense in a roundabout way. Which is how I do a lot of anything in my brain. So, umami. Okay. At the turn of the 20th century, Japanese chemist Kukune Ikeda was studying a broth made from seaweed and dried fish flakes called dashi. It has a very specific flavor, and I don't know if either one of you has had it. Because I like Asian food. I've never had it. You love it?
I do. I like
Okay,
it.
you know what it tastes like. Warm and tasty and savory.
Mm-hmm.
So Ikeda had been trying to isolate the molecules behind the distinctive taste in his lab. He was like totally sure that there was some connection between the way the molecules of the like dashi flavor was shaped and like the way he was perceiving the flavor as a human. So Akita eventually isolated the taste molecule from the seaweed in dashi, the amino acid glutamate, which is a key building block in proteins. So that was in 1909.
What?
This is how long ago we have had umami.
Oh my God.
Yes.
So why the fuck? What took so fucking long?
That was the question. Why did it take us 100 years to decide that we had savory taste?
What the F?
So in 1909, he suggested that the savory sensation triggered by glutamate should be one of the basic tastes, like on par with the sweet, sour, bitter, and salt, like distinctions that we already accepted as being tastes. And he called it umami, which riffed on a Japanese word that meant delicious.
So what's
My first thought is oishi.
oishi?
Yes.
Yeah. That's what all the anime kids say whenever they have something delicious.
That's cute. Why do you think this didn't catch on at all? Because I was reading this when I was doing the research and I was like, why did this take so long?
Well,
Is it racism?
I mean, likely, but also it was in Japan, right? In 1909?
Yes.
Yeah. So, I mean, they were isolationists until after World War II. So,
Oh.
yeah. So then World War II happened, and then there was the kind of invasion of our culture into their culture. And then, yeah.
Yeah.
And Japanese culture was kind of seen as bad for a very long time, which the Japanese did do very bad things. But, you know, Americans also did very bad things. We had a big discussion about this last night. Anyway,
Yeah.
listen. Yeah, so
Listen, war crimes.
yeah, we're not weebs. We like Japan and Japanese culture, but we know that, they did some bad things. So anyway, I think it probably has something to do with
war crimes.
yeah, and New Age, what is it? The New Age movement was also very like Eastern centric. Like they went through a big phase of like going to India and doing a lot of the yogi and like joining yogi communes and all of that. So they were like culturally appropriating. That's what I think it happened with umami.
Remy checks his notes and goes, "This is the whole thing."
Back in the 70s and 80s, when everybody decided they were going to start cults appropriated from Indian religions teachings.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
Yes. That's when like New Age and everything was going on. And then it's kind of migrated like New Age, and then there's also like when corporations have inserted themselves into New Age, quote unquote, New Age medicine, where they go into different cultures and like they're like, ooh, look at this herb that these people have been using for thousands of years, but we've never used because you're an American, blah blah blah. And
You're ignorant.
yeah, because
but
you're
these
ignorant.
people know because they're magical and primitive.
Yes, exactly.
Okay. This is a lot of things, and a combination of all of these things resulted in his paper that he wrote about umami not being translated out of Japanese for another 100 years. So we didn't give this paper any serious consideration and bother to translate it until 2002.
Oh my god.
What?
And everybody's like, "It's a new flavor." And I'm like, "But we've had this flavor."
Yep.
So
It's crazy.
my I need to know what are the flavors of the world. There's sour, sweet, salty,
Mm-hmm. And bitter.
Bitter.
oh bitter. Okay. Okay. And then
And then
umami.
umami. Those are the accepted ones.
And cumin.
Cumin?
And cumin.
Cumin.
Okay.
The secret eighth taste.
I'll get to secret tastes at the later time, Em.
Wait, secret. Oh, Jesus.
So it wasn't just like racism and war and so on and so forth that made this difficult. It's also that the molecules that make up umami also just behave weird. Umami itself is weird. Not just the question that's being asked today, but umami itself is weird. It does not get stronger with higher levels of glutamate and other substances that trigger the flavor of savory the way that every single other taste does. Because if you put salt on your tongue, the salt gets worse, right? It gets saltier.
Mm-hmm.
I would say it gets better. But that's just me.
You get more sweetness in your mouth when you put more sugar in there, and you get more bitter when you put more bitter stuff in there and like that. But umami doesn't get more savory when you put more savory stuff in your mouth. It's just a consistent savoriness.
It's savory. And it's twin.
Yeah.
Savory.
And they don't multiply.
They don't multiply. They stay the same.
It's 1 times 1.
Yep.
1 times 1.
So then they had to figure out what else was going on in umami that wasn't just the glutamate. So researchers finally identified 2 other molecules that triggered the sensation, which is inosinate, which is behind the umami of the bonito fish flakes, and guanylate, which is behind the umami of dried shiitake mushrooms.
Guanylate?
Yeah, or guanylate.
Guano?
Yeah.
Why did they name it after guano?
I mean, the mushrooms are called shiitake.
You got me there.
Oh my god, someone was having way too much fun.
Oh goodness.
Oh my god. Oh, that's hilarious.
I don't make the jokes often, but when I do,
Oh, that was good.
That hit me like a ton of bricks.
so basically, researchers have just been studying dashi for the last 100 years, and they've just finally, it just took them 100 years to one, translate the paper, and then two, actually figure out what else made up the flavor of dashi.
Wow.
So it just takes the effects of having two of these molecules in the same dish to make it have that like synergistic effect that makes umami the savory like way that it is.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So you get the same similar effect
So-
from other savory things like beef and things.
Okay. I was gonna ask. I was gonna ask if you know. So the umami is just savory.
Yeah. It's a combination of different chemicals that have come together to produce the perception that it is savory. Seaweed has glutamate, and the fish flakes had inositol in it, and the two of those things together make you perceive it as being savory. Like beef has inositol in it, and when you pair it with tomatoes, that which has glutamate in it, it makes you think savory, like spaghetti.
Yes.
Worcestershire sauce.
Worcestershire.
Hmm.
Worcestershire.
Worcestershire.
Some say it Worcestershire.
Worcestershire. Worcestershire. Worcestershire. Worcestershire. Fuck me. I could say Tchaikovsky. I could say Dingua. I could say a variety of other complicated words that I haven't said today and therefore aren't occurring to me at this very moment.
Papadopoulos.
Papa, Papa, Papanoff.
Nope. They can't say that.
Worcester.
Worcestershire.
Black Knights of Worcestershire. Some say it Worcestershire.
Oh my god.
So I'm not far off by saying MSG, just
Umami.
because that's monosodium glutamate.
Yeah, so to get there, also, researchers also they first thought umami was salty. They just decided when they discovered all of this, they were
Wow.
like, no, umami, this is just salty, guys. We're just gonna lump this in with saltiness, which is stupid.
Yeah. Originally, my thought was like, well, savory is usually with salty foods, but now I'm like, no, savory is a different flavor. Like, it's just different.
Yeah.
It's different.
They finally decided that was wrong because they would take away something that triggered the savoriness, and it dramatically changed the perception of the food. So they were like, well, that's wrong. That's wrong.
I want to be one of these people that have to
I decide the taste.
decide the taste. I want to be one of those people.
That would be a good job.
I'm sorry, that's not how that tastes. This taste, that doesn't exist. That's just salty.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
This taste does exist. We're gonna give it a name, and its name is gonna be guano.
Food chemists.
Food chemists. Ah, I was never good at chemistry.
Too much math.
Me neither.
But it's so interesting. It's too interesting. But too much math.
Yeah.
After they decided that they had failed in deciding that umami was salty, they got to look at the nerve endings in the mouth, and then went to the brain. So this is like neurology now. That suggested that umami and salt were just operating on totally different like nerve channels entirely. That sounds really interesting to me.
Yeah.
And it was literally that discovery to about 20 years ago was when that happened.
Wow.
That there are specific receptors in the taste buds that pick up on those specific things that I've already mentioned. That's when we decided that umami was its own thing.
Wow.
Fucking rad.
And then the connection between umami and the MSGs is because Akira 100 years ago, when nobody would take him seriously, that we could taste savory foods. he started his own seasoning manufacturer and started producing his own line of umami seasoning. And it's called monosodium glutamate, or MSG.
What?
Ajinomoto. Called,
No. I feel like I've heard of him.
it's still made today. It's still very popular.
Ajinomoto. Ajinomoto. It's a food company.
Yep.
Ajinomoto Food Group global website. I love it. It makes me think of all the all the Josei comics I've read, where the girl works at like a big corporation and it's like Japanese name group.
You just straight up get it at fucking Wally World.
Huh.
We had to take 100 years and a team of like lots of scientists to look at the nerve pathways in our mouth and brains to decide that we had specific receptors on our taste buds that stick on to the glutamate and the other umami molecules that create the effects to sense the amino acids. And then we were like, that guy 100 years ago was right. 100 years ago, he was like, to hell with you guys, I'm going to start my own company.
Mm-hmm.
Everybody's gonna be fucking addicted to this shit. And I went, fuck yeah, man.
I am. So
I'm a fan.
so like now that we're on the subject of MSG, what was with the whole anti-MSG movement? Because I like for a while I thought that MSG was bad for you.
Racism. Partly.
I mean, I figure now. Then I didn't realize, but
There was like a whole like stupid name for it, like Chinese food syndrome or some shit like that.
Yeah, I mean, it was xenophobia in part that caused it. Basically, because of the umami stuff, is literally this entire same process that created this whole conversation about MSGs being bad for you. The history of MSGs being considered bad for you is literally, it goes all the way back to when this Professor Akita, discovered the umami chemicals, the glutamate chemical acid, the amino acid. There we go. Got it. And he started selling them like on a big scale, and it was meant to like be sold and used in kitchens so that other people would like taste this like umami. He was like, eat this savory seasoning and you tell me you don't taste something different. And then we got his seasoning in the 1950s over here in the US, and it was in like everything. It was in snacks, and it was in baby food. It was in a lot of stuff. And then we banned it for a little while because the FDA, I think, decided that it was bad for us right there after World War II, you know.
Mm.
And
yeah, for no real reason.
World War II ended in 1947.
Yeah, we had it in our foods in that time, and then in the 50s, right in that general chunk of time period, the FDA banned it and also artificial sweeteners during that chunk of time. They decided that those were carcinogenic during that chunk of time also. Just another fact, just a random thing.
I mean, aspartame is bad for you, so.
It is. It is, in fact. And then it was somewhere during that also chunk of time when we decided we cared about whether or not there were chemicals in our food.
Oh boy.
And it was like somewhere in the beginning of the 60s, some doctors started complaining that he was having radiating pain in his arms and weakness after eating from Chinese restaurants. Yeah. And he was like,
sounds like bullshit to
he
me.
was like, must be that MSG that they're using. He literally blamed it on the excessive cooking salt and wines that they were using, which contained too much MSG, in the letter that he wrote to the newspaper. And then the reader responses were like, oh my God, it's the Chinese. And then they called it the Chinese restaurant syndrome. in like 1968. By then, it was when everybody decided they hated MSG, and then we just sort of stuck with it for like a really long time.
Yeah.
Well, you still get a lot of Chinese restaurants and related all advertising no MSG.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah, it's dumb. It's dumb.
There's a whole bit about it in New Girl. They do a bit. Not about like it's just about there's like a bit where Winston, one of the guys, he's actually allergic to MSG, but he really likes Chinese food.
Oh,
So he has Chinese food and he orders the Chinese food and it advertises no MSG. So then he eats the Chinese food and then his jaw locks up and he can't move because he's allergic to MSG. But like yeah, it's a bit and I can't tell if they actually believe that MSG is bad for you or what, but that wasn't even the point because the issue he was being used as like the example for Jess's argument she was having with the restaurant guy. So he was just sitting there. He's like, I actually really like the food. He's like, it actually tastes really good and I'd like to have some more. And she's like, Winston, you can't talk. He's like, oh.
wow.
So yeah, we can cut all of the New Girl talk.
No, I refuse.
It was relevant at the beginning, and then we had a tangent. Classic. So yes. Then doctors jumped on it and started writing books and articles called, like, I looked this up while you were talking. This is why the tangents matter. Called Chinese Food Make You Crazy? MSG is number one suspect in the Chicago Tribune, and books called The Taste That Kills and In Bad Taste, the MSG Symptom Complex. And then the FDA had to start putting out articles and doing 60-minute interviews saying that they were all lying and that was stupid. And no, it's not.
Oh wow.
Please stop.
Wow.
The FDA had to say. And then they started doing studies to try to like prove that it was MSG's fault, not the FDA, other people, scientists that believed it, because scientists are not above bias, you know. They're supposed to be,
Right.
but they're not all of them. So some scientists did studies that were trying to prove that MSG was or wasn't the problem, but then they would tell participants whether or not they were eating MSG,
Mm-hmm.
which that's
That's
not how it works.
tainting. Yeah, that's tainting the pool. Like you can't do that.
That's wrong.
Listen,
Unscience.
I got first place in both times that I competed in the science fair. So I know what I'm talking about when I use the scientific method. And these scientists don't know what they're talking about.
Yeah. You get him, Karen.
Take it from an 8th grader.
So then they did research where they didn't tell anybody, and the people who they didn't tell, even people who claimed that they had a sensitivity or an allergy to MSG, never had any reactions to it, because ultimately what makes up the MSG is largely just amino acids that our tongues already have built-in receptors to actually receive, because they are in a lot of things. So I don't know how many people can actually be allergic to it. I'm not saying nobody can, because there are things in it that are not just those amino acids and stuff, but a lot of it is just amino acids and salt.
Yeah. And like people are saying they're allergic to MSG when really they may just be allergic to the peppers that they use in the General Tso's chicken.
Yeah, it's literally monosodium, so it's a single sodium, which is salt. Like, basically, it's half of salt. It's a thing that makes salt salty. And then glutamate, which is the thing that makes dashi taste fishy, like tastes like seaweed. Sorry, not fish. It's the seaweed taste of dashi. So MSG is just salty seaweed flavor.
Man, now I'm hungry.
So
I know, I could go for some dashi.
Yeah, yeah.
I mean, and there's more to it, but those are literally what the initials stand for. So
Like I cook with it pretty often. I haven't recently just because I haven't gone to find my seasonings. Because we're in Arkansas and finding some certain seasonings is a little bit difficult sometimes, especially when you're Asian.
There's some Asian food markets. It's just you have to pay with cash.
Yes, and it's very frustrating. And then I don't want to go to the bank But if I walk in with it,
My local Asian food market has a card reader.
That's good.
I have to try another one that's near my work, but the one that I had been shopping at, that's like 5 minutes from here. I walked in and they're like, you need cash, and they're like, don't look at me, I'm embarrassed. they had me leave and come back.
Oh no.
Luckily, I had some cash in my car for like the first time in ever. Now I want to go to the Asian market again,
Mm-hmm.
but a different one.
They'll be like, it's the no cash kid. Ooh, so fancy. You need to use your card. Ooh.
How do you know what my grandma sounds like?
Grandma.
Okay, so Chinese restaurant syndrome, quote, was considered a legitimate ailment by medical establishments until the 80s.
Wow. I mean, I knew that, but like, it's always weird to hear.
It's such a stupid name for something. What is it? Chinese restaurant syndrome?
Yes.
Yeah.
That's so dumb.
How do you say you're racist without saying you're racist?
Yeah, exactly.
Chinese restaurant syndrome or China flu.
God. Oh, God.
It's like what they try to do with COVID.
Yeah. They're like,
Yep.
blame it on anybody else but us. And we're like, why does it keep spreading? I wonder why.
I wonder why.
When I was studying for my bachelor's degree, I took a class where we studied the history of Chinese food in America back when we used to treat the Chinese immigrants really horribly when we were building the railroads. And we have a very long and awful history with the way we treat Chinese cooks in our country. Basically, this exact same story just sort of repeats over and over and over again for the entire history of our country. So it doesn't surprise me at all. It's just very sad.
Yeah, it's terrible.
It is. Xenophobia, I guess, is the. No, it's just racist. Everything, all of it.
I looked up whether or not people could be allergic to MSG.
Oh.
Yeah, a very small subset of people can have negative reactions to the glutamate part of MSG, but the FDA says that it is an extremely rare phenomenon and that MSG is still on the recognized as safe food list, and that most people who report to be having bad experiences with MSG are just suffering from the nocebo effect, the lesser known and poorly understood cousin of the placebo effect.
That's incredible.
The phenomenon is what happens when suggesting that something can cause a negative reaction induces precisely those physical symptoms, instead of the placebo effect, which causes you to think that a positive thing is happening.
Yeah, that happens when I chew gum.
So when a Chinese restaurant says no MSG on its menu to reassure customers, it furthers the stigma, likely furthering the nocebo effect in the process. So even if they're using MSG, they can say no MSG, and then people will be like, see, nothing's happening. There's no MSG. And as long as they hide the bottle, you'll never know that they're using it or not, because almost no people are allergic to MSG or have negative side effects from it.
Exactly.
So there's the history of that. And that was a super good question. And that one was not a weird question at all. So we need to get back around to weird things. So why would we ask this? Did you know that there are secret tastes and contenders for sixth tastes?
Please! What's the secret taste? I'm not asking this just to give fake hype. I'm actually real hype. I realized just now that it sounds like fake hype, but no, this is completely real.
Okay. Karen, are you hyped for secret sixth tastes and tangential tastes?
Give me the fucking shrimp color!
What?
The water flavor! That whatever the animals are tasting in the water.
What?
Well, because, shrimp can perceive colors outside of our range. And also goldfish. Also most animals. Lots of different animals just see things different. But also, like, cats and dogs have receptors for water flavor. They taste something in the water.
I mean,
all water has a flavor, but they're tasting, like, more different things.
More different. Ah, okay.
Oh, they're tasting different flavors of water. Kind of like
Yes.
but is it like the difference between Dasani and Smart Water or what?
I think it's more like the difference between the cats preferring the big water bottle downstairs to the one up here.
Well,
Mm.
I'm going to send the question into our question inbox about animals tasting water, and then we're all going to do a water taste test, and we're going to see if we can tell the difference between water, and that's my contribution
Oh
to the
fuck yeah.
questions. Okay.
Fuck yeah. Then we're gonna record that shit. I'll get a tripod just for that. The tripod's name is your husband, Karen. I'm sorry. He has to hold the camera.
Well, he would probably want to participate, maybe. I don't know.
Okay, well, bring Cody. Bring
Okay.
Cody. Bring
I
Cody.
have a
He
tripod.
can hold the. Everybody's gonna. All right, you have a tripod.
I have a tripod.
Yeah,
and
it's like Remy like
mixed dice and stuff.
does this for
It's
yeah.
like I do these things for a living. I have 2 tripods actually. One
Yeah.
one has a light attached to it.
Fucking
One has a
bananas.
light attached to it and one doesn't. So like, which one do you want? Which one of my professional lights do you want?
Whichever
Right.
one makes me look the hottest.
The one with the ring light on it.
I wanna
But
look
you are always
good.
hot. So.
Yeah.
Oh, stop.
Wink.
Okay. There are 7 tangential tastes that are proposed to be the 6th taste.
Why can't they just be like the 6th, 7th, 8th, 9th, 11th, 12th?
Because that's too much. The 6th look, when there's only so much of one thing, it has to be exclusive. You can't share it with everyone. What is this? Communism?
I'm not selling flavor.
Tongue is exclusive property. Not everybody has access to it.
Yeah.
So, option number 1, we have pecans.
The fuck?
That's the one I want because I like spicy food. So, I like spicy foods. I like how it burns on my tongue. Some Asian cultures consider this sensation to be a basic taste already. And we call it picante because we stole it from France.
Oh, I was like picante, but
Hold on. We're gonna call the spicy flavor pecans because of the French? What in the damn hell have the French contributed to the spicy culture?
milk.
The French, look, they got cheese, they got wine. We'll give them that, but what are they gonna do with the spice? They got nothing to do.
Milk.
It's not like they even produce. It's not like they even grow spices in France. Maybe pepper, I don't know, but the climate is not effective for most of the spicy plants.
Milk.
I would say call it picante because, whenever I hear picante, I'm like, ooh, I can't eat that.
Okay, look, I was trying to prove you wrong, but according to a website that is actually in French, there's nothing spicy over there. Just it's
Yep.
in French, and it's called Burning Question, Do the French Hate All Spices?
Yes. Yes, they do.
And the answer is there's not much spicy food on offer. Okay. I was going to defend it, but okay.
Yeah. Listen.
There's nothing to defend.
The French themselves agree. Okay.
Yeah.
So, okay, take it up with food scientists.
Look, the closest thing the closest thing that French will ever come to spicy food is Cajun food, which is in Louisiana, and French Louisiana. And you know what? That's the closest it's ever going to come, and it's not even really fully French because it's,
What's the word for
Creole.
for the Creole? Wasn't there another one? There's another word
There's Creole, there's Cajun, and
specific to the. Maybe I'm thinking of the French immigrants in Canada, not the Quebecois, but the ones that migrated down south. It starts with an A.
I don't know those ones.
Spice.
Yes.
Yes, sorry. I I apologize.
So, historically, food scientists have not classified the oral sensation of spice as a taste. And that's because certain piquant compounds, such as capsaicin from peppers, directly activate our tongue's touch rather than taste bud receptors. So, they haven't decided that it's taste yet. The receptor is called TRPV1 and it acts as a molecular thermometer. And again, not actually as a taste
Oh.
thing, it's just sensing the heat. Normally, nerves with this receptor send a signal of hotness to the brain when exposed to substances around 107.6 degrees Fahrenheit. The heat pain threshold for humans and capsaicin fits into the TRPV1 receptor and lowers the activation temperature to 95 degrees, which is cooler than our body temperature, and it's why our mouth burns when we eat spicy foods.
I like it.
So,
Acadians!
okay.
Sorry.
Oh, I do know those ones.
Yeah. They came from Nova Scotia and went down to. Sorry.
It's okay.
Sorry.
It's okay.
I had to know.
Scientist says that spice is not considered a taste because it's actually a touch nerve ending situation. So number 2 is coolness at the other end of the taste sensation from picante.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Is the minty fresh sensation from peppermint and menthol. But it's just like the same trick of sensory perception, activated touch receptors that are called TPRM8. It fools the brain into sensing coldness at normal oral temperatures. There's like an argument that's being made that temperature sensation in like the genuine sense and in the confused brain phenomenon of hot and cold in your tongue deserves to be like its own like pantheon of basic taste, but they haven't decided to do that yet.
I'm beginning to become confused as to what is considered a taste. How do you qualify for a taste? Because if it's in your mouth and you could only taste it with your tongue
Yeah,
So
and inside of your mouth, then that should be a taste.
it affects different nerve endings and goes to different parts of your brain. Taste goes to a specific part, while the reaction to certain chemical, like certain reactions in your mouth with the food, affect a different part of your brain.
Why do you have to make sense?
Because it does make sense to me, the difference, because I mean, when I taste hot and cold things, it's like, yes, that's hot or that's cold, but but I have to
But what about the sensation of mint as a flavor?
I mean, the thing about it is I feel like mint is sweet cold.
That's called minty.
Yeah. But if you have to break down, if you think about it as like the categories of food, and then you break down little brackets that go in between them, then you have to think of it like a alignment chart.
Oh, I was thinking of it like one of those like evolution trees.
Yeah, I'm thinking of it like there's rows of, what are they? Sweet, salty.
like a Punnett square.
Yeah, I guess, because there's not really a salty cold, is there? I mean, like salted ice, like rock salt is salty cold.
You salt ice cream.
Yeah, salted ice cream.
Would salted salt?
No, because it doesn't activate anything hot.
What if I put peppers in it?
If you put peppers in it, then yeah, it would be sweet, salty, hot.
I think some of it is also just a matter of whether or not the receptors are found literally inside of your like taste buds and also activating that part of your brain, or if it's just an effect that is happening to your tongue but not contained inside of your tongue.
What about the layman's?
What?
Can it be the layman's taste?
The layman's taste?
I taste a mint. That's the seventh
Okay.
flavor.
Well, let's see. How about number 3, which is metallicity, which is another controversial taste, and it's whether or not we can register the taste of metal like gold and silver in your mouth. Researchers have shown that this sensation might have something to do with electrical conductivity, in effect, giving the tongue a little zap when you put it in your mouth. But lab tests haven't turned up receptors in your mouth for it. So this seems to fall into the category of an effect that's happening to your tongue and not something that is actually contained inside of your tongue.
Is this why pennies taste the best?
I would argue that pennies taste awful, but that's my opinion.
I used to wash pennies as a kid and then put them in my mouth.
That sounds so bad for you. It just makes me
It's-
think of the times when you would go to the zoo and they're like, don't put your pennies into the seal tank because guess what? We had a seal and that seal ate all of the pennies.
Oh, that's
And then he died.
And then it died. Yeah.
But I don't know. I used to put change in my mouth because I like the taste.
Wow.
I like the taste of metal.
damn. I gotta refer you to my video on TikTok about pica.
I do have
Okay.
pica.
But you didn't eat it, did you?
Oh, I didn't swallow. I just had this thing. I had to put it in my mouth because I like the taste and I like the feel of it in my mouth. But I know if I swallow it, then it's bad. But like, I like the taste of our forks.
Oh, well, that's nice.
Yes, I taste steel.
You have some very refined electrical conduction going on in your tongue, I guess.
I'm the kind of person who, if I touch an electronic, sometimes it just decides that life is over.
Oh,
What?
maybe you have a superpower.
Ooh.
I'm one of the people with it's a lot of electronic things will fuck up over time, but like it's not every electronic, but it's like older stuff doesn't like me. Uh, when I was a delivery driver, our scanners used to fuck up whenever I used them. So
That's really interesting.
You do have a really weird superpower.
This one, scientists are actually feeling really good about. Scientists are really trying to determine if we can taste fat
Ooh.
or if we just enjoy the feel of it in our mouth. This one is a
I'd say fat has a taste.
this one's a good contender. Mice can taste fat.
Like, I feel like it does in fact have a taste.
I feel like fat has umami flavor.
There's definitely a Venn diagram there.
Research has shown that mice can taste fat. They have receptors for it. And we do a lot of testing on mice for things that also affect humans because we have a lot of really similar stuff going on inside of us. So research has shown that mice can do it and that it looks like humans might be able to too, according to a 2010 study in the British Journal of Nutrition. The study revealed that varying taste thresholds for fatty acids, the chains that, along with glycerol, comprise fats, in participants were present. So, like, intriguingly, the subjects with the higher sensitivities to fat ate less fatty items because they said that it was gross.
Mm.
I feel like it's one of those things though, because humans are predisposed to fatty and salty items. So why wouldn't we have a taste for it?
Yeah.
I don't know.
But I feel like the taste is just, I don't know, maybe because I like fat. But Josh also does not like fat. So Josh doesn't like fat and I like the fat. So if he tastes the fat or feels the fat, he's like, not good. Not good.
I don't like the fat.
So
I'm walking that line.
I
I like certain fats.
love a big juicy fat steak.
Is bone marrow considered a fat? Because I like bone marrow.
I think bone marrow is considered bone marrow. I think it's its own thing.
Oh, I like blood.
Bone marrow contains high levels of fat.
Yeah! Yeah!
There you go.
In your face, Karen!
Well, all right. I have been proven wrong.
I'm right about a thing that doesn't matter.
Now, I don't know if it's considered a fat, but it's extremely high in fat.
It's just very good.
It's almost like 100 milligrams of fat.
Wow.
I
That's a lot.
when we eat short ribs, I
Oh, I'm sorry. It's almost 100 grams
I
of
eat it.
fat per 100
What?
grams of bone marrow. It's basically all fat. So yeah, I guess it
Oh.
would be fat.
Oh, it is all fat. Yeah. Goodness. Yeah. Well, when we make the short ribs, the bones, if I leave them in for long enough, the bones get really they just end up falling apart. And I
Yeah,
end up
last time we had it, I just ate the bones.
yeah, me too. I mean, they just like were they had everything had been soaked in, and there were still hard bones, of course, but like there were parts of the bone that I didn't realize were bone until I was like, oh,
You're already eating it.
yeah. I'm like, well, I'm already here, so
I was like legit. I was going for it. I ate the bones and I scraped out the marrow from the hard parts. I was into it, bro.
I do make really good short ribs.
It's just fucking delicious.
So, what about carbon dioxide? Scientists are trying to determine if we can taste carbon dioxide. When it dissolves in liquids, it gives, soda and beer and champagne and other carbonated beverages the zingy, fizzy quality. That, like, tingly sensation of, like, the bubbles bursting on your tongue has always been consigned into the touch category, which is where I always thought it was. But scientists are trying to determine if that counts as a taste or not because they maybe think that we have a dedicated taste bud based carbon dioxide sensor on our tongue. They published this in a paper in 2009. They found that an enzyme called carbonic anhydrase 4 appears on sour taste sensing cells on our tongue that specifically detect carbon dioxide in mice. So they think that we have it too.
I think we do.
Yeah.
Because look, the soda stream fucking changed our life, and I go in and I fucking add just the carbonation to it and nothing else because I like the taste.
And when you like finish adding the carbon dioxide and you pull the soda stream out and there's like a little bit of like uh there's the vapor coming out of it,
That tastes good.
I will like bring it up to my bring it up to my face and go like nom, 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 nom.
And I'm the weird one for eating penny.
I think the vapor from the soda stream is not harmful.
Because the yeah, look, CO2 has not touched anybody's butt, okay?
I said I washed the change.
Y-
It's been clean.
You cannot wash the change of change that has been in a butt.
You had to scrub it real good. Karen, I'm very concerned about.
You can never know for sure, is the thing. You cannot sit there and tell me that a penny has never been in someone's butt because you just never know. So there you go.
Passionate about butt pennies.
I'm passionate about people shouldn't be putting change in their mouths.
I haven't put change in my mouth in a long time.
Well, that's good.
Chains, though.
Okay.
Not like some random stranger chain, though.
Okay.
Like a chain I know.
A chain that you know. Yeah.
Okay.
Like, I can't wear jewelry anymore, but. Okay, we're good.
Okay. What about scientists are considering whether or not we can specifically taste calcium? Calcium is critical in our bodies for like muscle contraction, cellular communication, and bone growth. I've talked on the TikTok about how like cow milk is really bad for us, but that we still need calcium for our bodies. Being able to sense it seems like a good tool for survival. Mice have figured out how to sense it. Research has revealed that the rodents' tongues have two taste receptors for calcium. One of those receptors have been found on the human tongue, actually, already. Calcium clearly has a taste, and counterintuitively, most mice and humans don't like it. People have described it as bitter and chalky, even at very low concentrations.
I like it.
Hmm.
Is that weird? Like, cause there's those calcium chew thingies, and I would sit there and be like, I want to eat another one.
Hey, I mean,
They're like, but it also came with like it like
They're good for you.
They are good for you. I like the flavored ones too, but then they get too sweet sometimes. But I don't like milk because I don't like the fatty taste.
I don't like milk because all milk tastes
Bitter.
sour.
Oh.
Oh, that sucks.
Yeah, that does suck.
It's bitter to me.
Maybe there's just something added to those.
Maybe that's the calcium.
Maybe there's something added to the calcium juice that make them not taste bad.
I just thought it's just like the fatty, thick kind of like bitterness of milk. I just don't like it.
Huh.
I like milk.
Blah.
Oh, I mean, cow milk is not good for you.
Yeah, but it's very popular. You could also drink chocolate milk, which is good.
Yeah.
I like chocolate milk.
I mean, chocolate milk is good. Josh really loves chocolate milk. He'll eat it. Yeah, he loves it. But
I like chocolate milk with some sugar in it and also hot and also with some chili powder and cinnamon in it.
that does sound good.
But you can get calcium in things that are not cow milk. You can get it in oat milk and almond milk and cashew milk and coconut milk. You can get calcium in all of those things, and also you can get those in the chocolate variety.
Mm.
I get it in my soy milk.
Oh, I forgot soy. Yes, soy.
Drink it in my coffee every day. My decaf coffee.
And then last, we loop all the way back around to Japanese terms. Kokumi is the other one up there with fat that scientists are seriously considering might be the sixth taste. The calcium receptor might have something to do with an unrelated sixth taste candidate called kokumi, which translates as mouthfulness and heartiness. Kokumi has been put out by researchers from the same Japanese food company, Ajinomoto, who helped convince the taste world of the fifth basic taste, umami. Like, maybe we should listen. They were right about umami, but okay.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So, Ajinomoto scientists published a paper in early 2010 suggesting that certain compounds, including the amino acid L-histidine, glutathione, is in yeast extract and in protamine in fish sperm or milt, which they do eat in Japan and elsewhere, interact with our tongue's calcium receptors, and the result an enhancement of flavors already in the mouth or perhaps a certain richness. So, braised, aged, or slow cooked foods supposedly contain great levels of kokumi. If all that sounds like vague, it does to Western scientists too, which is why they haven't taken it seriously. Ajinomoto representatives have visited some place called the Tordorf Group and given us foods, quote, that they say are high in kokumi, but we have no idea what they're talking about. The representative said, quote,
Oh.
Oh, but it makes perfect sense.
kokumi may be something that the Western palate, it says, quote, kokumi may be something that the Western palate isn't attuned to. Yeah.
But
Yeah, it makes sense to me.
It makes sense to me too.
it's the richness of food.
Yes, it's the richness that it gets when you cook something for a long, long time. Like the
Yeah.
short ribs we were literally just talking about.
Yeah.
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 We literally like, oh, that's too rich for me. And like it was even a problem in Europe where people would be going from eating simple food to really rich food and it would upset their stomach, like
Yeah. Yep. Yep.
We know what this taste is, you fucking idiots.
Yep. So we're 10 years into the next 100 years it's going to take before we get our sixth taste recognized.
God damn it.
Oh my god.
Just listen to them the first time.
Just get all the weird food reviewers on YouTube to just start saying, was it kokumi?
Kokumi, yes.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, seriously.
They love new tastes, and then they'll use it over and over again. I once watched a food reviewer use umami to describe a hamburger.
Oh my god, you guys, this is how we do it. This is how we get famous.
We steal an idea from Japan.
Excuse me. Hi there. Are you tired of all the tastes that you normally taste? What if I told you that there was a secret, hidden taste that you've always known about, but I've never really had a way to describe it? Here it is. Kokomi.
Coco you.
all of our products, all of our products contain high levels of kokomi. It's perfect for getting that sexy, young, hot body that you want. And the other one, too.
Yeah.
Sorry.
And the other one, too.
Mhm.
It's hitting me in waves. And the other one, too. It's just like you.
I'm sorry.
Use your imagination, folks. The sexy young bod or the vampire bod?
I'm so sorry, Remy. We got on a tangent again, and it's all my fault.
It's okay.
Oh, but I have to say, kokomi. I feel like I've tasted that, and I understand what they're trying to say. What's I understand in Japanese? Isn't it like I feel like they say it all the time in anime. Wakarimashita. Like understood.
I don't know Japanese. I'm sorry, Karen.
I'm gonna look it up. Oh my god, I was right.
Holy shit!
It says to understand.
Say it again.
Wakarimashita.
Wakarimashita.
Mm-hmm.
I could say that. But
It's
what was the word I was fucking up earlier?
Worcestershire.
Wakarimashita. Worcestershire.
It's specifically the past form of the verb. So we often say, "Hai, wakarimashita," when we are instructed, advised, or scolded. So not really applicable to this situation, probably. But
Japanglish.
Japanglish, yeah.
Remy's over there. It's like, wow, I love this podcast.
Basically, I don't have contributions to the Japanese language portion.
Neither do I. I really just the little like constant anime that's running in my head just went like, ah, yes, I understand.
Deja vu. All according to Keikaku. I'm showing my ass over here. But Karen, I think he won the award. Y'all broke me today.
I'm so sorry.
Y'all broke me. Oh my god. Nice work.
Okay, that's all the flavors that they're offering.
Yep, those are the flavors that they're offering.
I think they should all be flavors right now.
I have to agree. I think these are all excellent contenders. But what is the best flavor?
All of them. I feel like Jean-Baptiste Grenouille over here with my medal, like, do you not taste the metal? What does this taste like?
How do I extract the taste
of metal?
Aw.
I'm surprised that, like, I mean, I guess because I'm thinking in the vein of our conversation last week, I'm surprised that, the taste of
pussy bread.
Yeah, of pussy or the taste of dick never came up.
Don't those count as like salty and like
Umami?
umami?
Next time I write a bit of smut, I'm just gonna have it come out with like her pussy tasted like umami. When he looks up between your legs. Ah,
umami.
Umami.
And then she smacked him. Kicked him. It's like, get the fuck out of there. You're nasty.
5 stars. I would come again.
Jesus Christ.
You started it, bro.
I did.
You
I take
started
it back. I apologize.
No, I think you're onto it though. The taste of pussy is umami. Dick too.
Dick too.
I mean, because it's well, I don't know what the hell is coming out of the puss. I do know, but I'm not sitting here like it's made out of proteins because I don't really think about that. But you got the proteins in the dick.
Mm-hmm. I think it's probably mostly protein. That and
They ain't no MSGs.
It's acid.
acid. Okay. I was thinking, it's gonna be either acid or a base. And then I was like, it wouldn't really make sense if it was a base. So it's gotta be an acid. But does that make
Yeah,
sense?
it's
Why would there be acid?
yeah, it's incredibly acidic down there.
Huh. You know, that makes sense.
We gotta kill shit with our genitals, man. It's very vulnerable. Also, did you know that my body is so acidic? I'm talking about my body in general, not about my specific pussy population. I'm talking about my actual human body skin. My skin and my body is so acidic that I have to have metal frame glasses
Huh.
because my face melts things.
Yeah, the plastic.
That's crazy.
It's wild.
Like these ones are starting to bubble already, the inside, because I was like, I want the plastic frames. It takes time, but my skin slowly eats away at the stuff, and same goes for earrings and things like that.
Wow, you electric conducting acid oozing person.
Producing person.
I know there's some weird shit going on with my body, guys.
This one weird father
Someone
mucker.
help. I'm also really, really sensitive to electric currents around me.
It's true.
So I'm like a human EMF meter.
Man, we just got to get you a costume and some sort of weapon, and then you can go out and be the second masked vigilante of our city.
I walk around and it's just like, oh, you have some really unprotected electric fields over here. Have you considered seeing an electrician to ground your home? Because, bro, this is bad.
Be a shame if somebody disrupted your personal electric field.
Bro, it happens and it freaks me out. And then I'm looking over my shoulder like, what are you doing? Why are you there? Don't stand near me. I feel you in the air. But thanks everybody for listening. This is episode 2 of Why Would You Ask That? And today we brought you a very tame, less pussy bread episode, though we did get a little raunchy at the end. I very apologize. No, I don't. And we are very excited to take your questions too, because we want to hear them and we want to answer them, and we are so super qualified to answer questions. So what you can do is you could visit our website, which is whywouldyouskthat.com, and go to that little contact form, throw in a question, or you can email us at whywouldyouskthatpod@gmail.com.
All spelled out exactly how you would spell it.
Yeah, you just kind of look at the name of the podcast,
Yeah.
and then you add pod@gmail. So please send us your questions. We don't care how weird it is, how gross it is. Just don't ask any personal questions. That's our one line. Ask your weird questions. That's what we want. So thank you for listening. This is M, Karen, and Remy, and ask us some shit. Thank you. Good night.